So, brother, the topic of today is 5 things you should stop doing in your 20s, right? And I'm making this video as a way of making you realize that I too have been there just like you. And I've spoken to way too many guys. And there are 5 things that I'll tell you that if you stop these 5 things, now these 5 things are supposed to be like, they might piss you off, they might get you angry, they might make you feel like, oh no, bro, you're wrong. You need balance everything. Fuck the idea of balance because I made a video on how you can basically balance your vices. But let's be honest. When I speak to too many guys and they bring up the idea of balance, what you're basically saying is you want to still maintain your bad habits while you reap the good things in life. It's not possible. And I'm saying that with speaking with way too many guys and have seen that, bro, it's not possible. But guess what? There is a way you can actually bring everything together because let's be honest, life we're not here in life to work throughout our entire lives. We're here to like kind of like work, be on our purpose and enjoy the process. Now, I'll be saying something at the end. Hopefully I remember because my videos are not scripted. But the 5 things that you should basically avoid. The first thing is one, addictions. Bro, I'm telling you that we live in an addiction-based economy where companies, even down to baby cartoons, they aren't just making videos or making cartoons for the sake of educating people. It's wired at the sake of addicting. What that means is entertainment is not even their business. It is strictly addiction because they see the average man, they see you as somebody who that will make more profits from. So when you say addictions, what kind of addictions are we referring to? Starting with alcohol. You see, one thing about addiction is there are a key amount of components that you need for you to be addicted. One, you need to feel low in life, stress, boredom, loneliness. Your friends are a huge part of your addiction, a huge part of your addiction, and also they keep you addicted to your bad habits. Your environment keep you addicted to your bad habits. Your excuses keep you addicted to your bad habits. So what kind of bad habits am I referring to? What kind of addictions? Alcohol. Bro, if you really look at the fact that alcohol, drugs, weed, one, they damage your mental health. You feel good right now. All of a sudden, if it's alcohol, you wake up feeling low, feeling grumpy, hangover. Guess what? And all these things are just you escaping your reality. Literally speaking, what does you have? You have it damaging your physical health. Everybody knows this. It's so crazy that addictions are so crazy that on the packs of cigarettes, they tell you that smokers are liable to die young. But guess what? Most people don't, you probably don't give a fuck if you're already addicted to smoking because they know they have put a shit ton of chemicals. You see, and that's why the next video I'll make is probably how to break your addiction or the things that are there keeping you addicted. Because if you don't know what it is keeping you addicted, guess what? You might watch 1,000 videos about getting rid of your addiction, but you may never really get rid of it. So again, I mentioned alcohol, I mentioned weed. There is porn addiction. Bro, this is so crazy right now. Porn addiction is allowing guys like you to not be able to go out, appreciate women, talk to women. Now at the same time, sometimes you might hear me giving conflicting advice. This is why I always tell guys when it comes to coaching that some of my advice may sound conflicting, but what you need is context. That is why when people say you want to balance out life, yes, I can teach you how to balance out your pleasures in life and your actual hard work. I can teach you that. Even I made a video about that, talking about how to moderate your vices. But I'm basically talking about the fact that these addicting behaviors, at the initial stage, you can't balance it out. Your goal is to completely get rid of them. To completely, I would say, what's that word? Change them forever. Then again, when it comes to addiction, the main problem with addiction is it is instant gratification because when your body is flooded with all these things like alcohol, weed, drugs, guess what? You don't feel the need to actually work on your goals and your dreams anymore because you're already in a very chilled mode. You're in a relaxed mode. It's basically used to escape your reality. Yes, when you take all these drugs, alcohol and stuff, what happens is you feel like you don't have problems now. But guess what? You are kind of pushing your problems moving forward in life. And is that crazy that I don't know how we now have a culture of ignoring our problems. Bro, it's so crazy now that even not taking these things make you sound weird. But trust me, one thing I'll tell you with this mindset is, bro, you are not missing out on anything. This is a very powerful message because I see too many guys say, oh, I don't want to miss out on life. So what does that mean? That's why I drink, that's why I smoke. Bro, if you ask anybody who smokes and drink, literally speaking, coming from, okay, you being his younger brother, he will tell you, you are not missing out on shit if you don't smoke, if you don't drink. So, bro, Get rid of your addictions. I'll be talking about your major addictions later in maybe a different video, because bruv, it's crazy. There's porn addiction, drugs addiction, there's even food, but we'll get to that very, very soon, right? But the bottom line is, if you see yourself, the only thing you should be addicted to, right, are your goals and dreams. That is why I made the video saying that you being obsessed will save your life, because whether like it or not, the more addicted you are to, the more addicted and the more you go all in into your goals and dreams, the better your chances of actually succeeding in it and actually getting real dopamine, real gratification, delayed gratification. Because based on research, the people who can delay gratifications are the ones who are the most successful in life. Two, now the second thing you have to stop doing in your 20s are time wasters. Your biggest time wasters in your 20s are from your friends, right? Because again, your friends don't really know what they want out of life. So guess what? Most of your friends are distracted. And because they are distracted, they want to do what? They want to recruit you or bring you along in their distraction. That's why I made a video that the people who will promote your bad habits are mostly people that sponsor the bad habits or profit from it, or your friends who are as equally as distracted as you, who have no guidance. In your 20s also, committed relationships, serious relationships are a big waste of time. And hear me out. You see, when you're in your 20s and you're broke, this is something my father taught me, right? And again, I really wished more fathers or your father had taught you this, that when you're in your 20s, the reason I say you should avoid a committed relationship is when you are in your 20s and you are broke, you don't know what you want in a woman. You don't know. You don't know what you want in a woman. So what that means is you think you know what you want, but by the time your identity changes, you want something different. When my father was saying this, and I quite did not understand this until I got into a relationship. While I was heavy on self-improvement, and in about 6 months, I think my mindset kind of outgrew the person I was with. Then it kind of makes sense to me that no, as in your 20s, you're supposed to be evolving so fast. And take it or leave it, women don't really evolve so fast. I'm not here, this is not a woman hating channel, right? So what that means is in your 30s, you are probably more equipped. You are much more informed. This is why even in your 20s, you should still talk to women. You should still understand women, because if you don't understand women, you don't want to be that guy in his 30s, bro. You don't want to be that guy in his 30s who is rich but is afraid to talk to women, or he thinks that he has to buy a woman's time, because a lot of guys do it. And bro, that thing changed my mindset for real when I kind of realized that if I was only hustling, only working on my goals and dreams and ignoring women for the fact that I want to build a family and in my 30s, I need to also talk to them, it should have been very, very weird for me to start using money to talk to them, because bro, a lot of men do this. And it comes in form of things like, oh, you know what? I want to talk to you, right? Let me give you some money so you can listen to me. Let me give you some money so you can validate me, right? It's fucked up. So guess what? I had to swallow that harsh truth. This idea of, oh, alpha grind, alpha mindset, I had to kick that shit out and start talking to women, talking to real women, going out to them, right? But not getting into a committed relationship. Another thing that can waste your time is watching TV. Bro, my father used to have a saying that, because I don't know, the video I'm trying to make, right, is about my father and the principles he passed down to me, right? And because these are advice that a lot of guys should have gotten from their fathers, but for some reason, you may not have gotten it. So, watching TV, my father used to say, for those that watch television don't have vision. Back in the days, it used to be like a cliche, and I'll be like, what the fuck is this old man talking about? Until I realized that when you're always focused on what other people are doing, focused on other people's fantasies, you are ignoring your own. You are escaping your own. Even these days when I avoid listening to music in my headphones, bro, the amount of quality thoughts that I get is crazy, right? These days, what I listen to majorly are mostly beats, right? Beats, lo-fi beats, audiobooks. Bro, let's even pause on that first. Let's pause on that. The fact that watching TV basically programs your mind. That is why the things you see on what do you call it, on the things you see on what do you call this thing, on the TVs are basically called programs intentionally, because the powers that be understand that the things they show you are made to program your mind. That's why movies these days, they work on agendas to make you weak. Movies these days are designed to prey on your intuition, on your natural instinct as a man. Then one other time waster that, guys, in your 20s, you need to be careful of is called I'll say failed projects. Now I have a startup I'll call failed recently, right? The startup failed a while ago, but we dragged the startup for way too long. We dragged the dead body of the startup for way too long, right? So it's a huge time waster, but I would not really call it a complete loss because there were a lot of lessons that were learned in that situation. So get rid of your time wasters, friends, committed relationships, watching TVs, just chilling, right? To be very, very frank, yes. The truth is that, like I've said, we're here to enjoy life, but at the same time, live our purpose, right? So I'm telling you how, again, I'm reminding myself to talk about how you can actually bring a balance to this thing. Because it's not the same way you see it when you speak about balance, right? So three, the one thing you should avoid doing is ignoring your health. Because bro, the amount of shitty habits we have these days that have been praised, and yet these same habits are damaging our health is crazy. It is fucking to the roof. Bro, it's actually very, very bad. A typical example now is phone lights are crazy. The amount of the way I see people use their phone lights, bro, do you realize that it's almost like even forget phone lights. I'll say it feels like this generation is going deaf. Because if you look at the fact that the average volume that people listen to their music at is slowly increasing. Bro, think about it. Ask yourself, looking at the volume you listen to your song, do you think your eardrums have been impacted? As in, ever since I paused or rather I cut out trashy music, each time I just like listen, I can basically hear what other people are listening to on their headphones. And I'm wondering, why the fuck is it that loud? I see people's phones, the brightness is through the roof. I'm saying this because even I'm a tech bro, right? Ex-tech bro, not ex-tech bro, yes. Ex-tech, ex-software brother. You get the point. But even still, my screen lights are always to the lowest because if you can see it's okay. You don't have to have that crazy brightness because based on research, this generation of men are going to actually this generation basically is going to start expressing blindness from a very young age. Again, it comes down to all these addictions. And one addiction I think I forgot to mention is short form scrolling. Short form social media content is a complete disaster, right? Do I create content there? Yes, I create because I believe that's a way of getting my message across. But regardless, one thing I'll say is cut it out. Another thing I've seen people trying to like damage their health is steroids. I had this guy at the gym walk up to me recently, but he was off the camera. This guy says that he was like, Stone, my heart is beating fast. It feels like he needs to see a doctor. I'm like, do you have any underlying medical condition? He says no. He says that he took about 4 things, right? And now his heart is racing. Pre-workout, creatine, weight gain, or something else. He mentioned one chemical name or something. I'm like, bro, and that chemical name sounded like steroids. I'm like, bro, you are not a professional bodybuilder. Why the fuck are you doing this? And he's like, no, now, I should please forgive him. I'm like, no, you can't be begging for my forgiveness. You came to me because you wanted to feel good first. You wanted a practical solution. I was like, bro, I'm not a medical doctor, but one little science I have is, bro, start drinking water. Like, when we start drinking water is probably buy like 5 bottles. You need to dilute your system. I know the doctors may have like other procedures, but maybe before you get there, just start drinking water because that's your only choice, right? You can't take anything else. Volunteer to drink alcohol to make it worse. So I mean, I felt bad because, bro, if you are not a professional bodybuilder, right? And saying, this speech on steroids, it brings this quote I have in my head that says, accept the consequences first before you make the choices. You see, steroids, in my opinion, the benefit, the consequences does not outweigh the consequences outweighs the benefit, right? When you fucks up your testosterone, fucks up your kidney, your liver, some people their heart, all in the name of trying to look good, try to build bigger muscles. And bro, the irony is that guy who did that thing right now, he's shredding. He's shredding because he's doing boxing, and then while he was doing boxing, we kind of realized that his muscles were obstructing his punches. We're making him too stiff. But now what is he doing? He's cutting down. So all those years of building, trying to be literally, he's one of the strongest men in my gym, trying to acquire that status. And this is what I tell bro, guys, larger muscles does not mean more women. No, right? Again, it's not about the muscle size itself. It's again, how aesthetic are the muscles? Do you have the V taper? Apart from that, do you have your abs showing? Like again, a lot of guys miss the entire point. They believe that the bigger your muscles, the more attractive you are. I call that the fucking BBL brain, where a lot of women think that the bigger the BBL, right, the more men they attract. So stop ignoring your health. What should you do? Eat clean, remove junk foods. If you use your phone, I believe you should get some sunlight in, right? Use your phone at some reasonable brightness. Your loud music should be listened to a regular volume. Forget having to bash the reverbs into your I don't know, sorry, your brain shall basically. So the fourth thing which is I think guys should stop doing is avoid working on other people's dreams. Because here's the harsh truth. If you're not working on your dreams, somebody else would be using you to achieve his own dreams. So what should you do in your 20s? Something that says one, a 9 to 5, first of all, is not bad in your 20s. If you see yourself living the 9 to 5 and doing your own stuff, because there are people who have done 9 to 5, and that 9 to 5 was apprenticeship for them. Apprenticeship was what the 9 to 5 was. It has kind of exposed me to a lot that we heavily underestimate it because Warren Buffett says that he's a billionaire today because Benjamin Graham made him his apprentice. Well, that means he learned from the legend himself. So whether I like it or not, right? If you're not working on your goals or your dreams, you're most likely working on somebody else's own. And guess what? One day you might wake up and realize that you are 60, you are 65. And you not really lived your life because you'll be living life based on the terms of other people. And guess what happens? Regret. If you watch any of these short TikTok or YouTube videos that ask people, hey, hi, my name is this. I go around asking people what they do. What do you do? How old are you in your 50s? What's your biggest regret in your 60s? Rather, it's like most of them, their greatest regret is they never bet on themselves. What that means is they never follow their dreams. And bro, I'm telling you that if it's a huge regret from older people, why the fuck aren't you taking the advice? I keep telling people that young ones, please always listen to the older ones. Because if you watch the story of older people, it's much more easier for you to escape addiction because more people have wrecked their lives to addiction than you can think of. And these stories are out there on the internet. So I'll tell you, stop working on other people's dreams, work on yours. And the fifth and the most important stuff is stop avoiding mistakes. Bro, I used to think that in your 20s, every project I work on must be a success. No. Like in your 20s, you have time not to play. You have time to experiment, to figure out what works for you. Basically, avoiding mistakes is the biggest mistake in your entire life because I was taking a walk this morning, and then I remember when I was talking to people about building my brand and stuff, and how, you know what, I'm not going to the brainstorming ideas anymore. I was just like, instead try to focus on helping people and making things easier for myself, right? And experimenting with stuff. They kept on talking about how you don't have time, focus on your niche. And one statement from Steve Jobs pierced my head. He says, Steve Jobs, who by all means seems to be one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time, he says, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards and hoping that they connect. What that means is, bro, if you're in your 20s, get out of your head and just start doing it. There's a reason Nike slogan means just do it. It's not because it's supposed to motivate you, it's because truly you have ideas in you that you don't execute. What happens? Why are you afraid of making a mistake? Worst case, one thing that I like is instead of seeing it as a mistake, see it more as an attempt. And there's a quote I think I have again that says, if God told you that you are to experience 30 failures before you get to success, what would you do? Ironically, your mind will answer it that, you know what? It means I should just go ahead and fail 30 times. My 31st attempt will be a success. So why don't you see it that way? Because yes, I have a lot of failed projects, right? I have a lot of failed projects. But guess what? I feel like I have learned a lot from those failed projects. And this is why I tell people that you learn a lot by practicing. You learn a lot by actually doing the thing, right? Same thing, even learning how to fight, bro. You learn how to fight more by either sparring or getting to like, not street fights, but a controlled fight, partial fights. Then before you know it, you can do it to contacts. Now I'm still in partial level, but I'm seeing gaps, I'm seeing where to improve. So, bro, I'll tell you as a brother, that idea of every time you see yourself being afraid to make a mistake, remember that so far the are not so crazy. Fuck it. It might be money, so what? But the point is, at some point, something will click. At some point, you will get there. I can tell you this for a fact. Apart from it, it gives you, it kind of boosts your confidence because you have gone through struggles. The irony is the people who have barely gone through struggles, they don't really get to, quote unquote, brag. They don't really get to have that crazy confidence because, bro, Like I said, you've been through shit, but the person who has been through shit knows the amount of confidence he has in him. So, brother, those are the 5 things that I want you to avoid. Avoid, like, short-term addictions are the craziest problems that we have in our 20s today, right? We have time wasters. We have ignoring your health, working on other people's dreams, and lastly, avoiding mistakes. So that's it, brother. My name is Tonore. If the ideas in this video resonated with you, I want you to please share this video with somebody who you know will find it helpful, because I'm a firm believer that helping more guys, or helping guys to their entire life back, has been one of my greatest passions, one of the things that gives me the greatest joy. So if you like what you're hearing, they share this video with somebody, right? Hope and definitely hope they find it interesting to and share with somebody else. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon, and please avoid these things. So see you tomorrow, and bye for now.